Live from Paradise Studios in Massapequa, New York, it's Unger the Radar, starring Randy Unger. Brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Tonight, Randy will be interviewing actor Jesse Bradford and filmmaker Ned Ehrbar of the new comedy film California No. Randy will also be reviewing the new films Clara's Ghost, Mary, Queen of Scots, and United Skates with special guest critics Robin Channing and CJ Oakland. And now, here's your host, Randy Unger.
Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another edition of Unger the Radar, a very special edition. So we've got two very special guests today. One's in person, one's on the phone. So yeah, you should be seeing an image of Mr. Jesse Bradford, acclaimed actor. He's somewhere out there. But Jesse, are you there? There he is. Jesse?
Hi there.
There he is. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly. And I've got Mr. Ned Ehrbar.
Hello. How's it going?
Great. So guys, I saw the film last night, and yeah, I loved it. The film is California No, just to set the table here. It's a quirky dramedy, I'd say, or maybe just a straight up comedy.
It's a comedy. But it's incredibly sad.
Yeah.
You know, like the best comedies.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
And basically, it's about this gentleman who finds out that he's in an open marriage, which I'm a little surprised that he found out so late.
Well, that's sort of what the movie is about. Is
Right.
The phrase "California No" is about how people from Southern California, particularly, tend to avoid conflict by just nobody wants to be the bad guy. So
Okay.
the California No is just silence.
Okay.
So you have a lot of people who are going out of their way to avoid conflict and avoid difficult conversations, and so that's in the start of the film. Our main character is in marriage counseling, and his wife reveals that, as far as she understood, they're in an open marriage, which was news to him.
Now, is this I'm from New York. Is this a common California thing?
What, the open marriage thing, or people just not liking conflict?
Maybe both, I guess.
I don't know. I know in LA I've experienced a lot of people, going out of their way to, like, nobody wants to be the bad guy.
Right.
So you just get a lot of unanswered emails and things like that.
Okay. So, Jesse, what was your involvement like? How did you get involved with the film?
Well, Ned and I grew up together, and
Okay.
we've known each other since we were 11 years old.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Literally, like the 6th grade, you know.
Yeah. Really? Okay. Add some context here.
Yeah, I
Cool.
think Ned, I think you were the first person I ever smoked pot with.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway,
I was a bad
so
influence.
we've been
Yeah,
friends
or vice
forever,
versa.
and he's still one of my really, really, really dear close friends.
Awesome.
And he's made a couple movies, and this one kind of had the right role in it for me, and was the right timing and the right opportunity. And we had kind of discussed trying to do something together before, but this was the one where it worked out and came together and felt like the right thing. And
Okay.
and so, he, as old friends, he approached me and said, "Hey, I'm kind of writing this role with you in mind. Do you want to do it?" And so I did it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, though, was Colton Jane based on anyone specifically in real life?
Ned, if you have an answer to that.
No, first of all, I want to say Jesse, as I've known him for years. I think he's absolutely hilarious, and I think his comic work is underappreciated. So I wanted to really give him just like devour that scenery.
Yeah, awesome.
And I thought
Thanks, buddy.
so he sort of he wrote this part specifically for him, but it's not really based on any particular celebrities. It's more just my years as an entertainment journalist. I've interviewed a lot of people, and it's just sort of some of the worst behaviors I've seen sort of rolled into one. But no, it's not. It's there's no one person,
Right.
Aside from maybe just a little like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Okay.
But I was actually, Jesse, we didn't really talk about this, like who you might have drawn inspiration from.
Well, I always thought it was a composite character of sorts that you had created that was just bad cliches.
Yeah. I wanted to see more of Colton, actually.
If I was going to be super honest, I while I was trying to live that guy, I think I pictured Tom Cruise jumping on Oprah's couch a couple times.
Yeah, I see that.
But besides that, I wasn't really trying to model it after anything. I just wanted like unbridled enthusiasm. You know, really the best of that moment on Oprah's couch is what I was looking for. Unbridled enthusiasm, just usually about the wrong stuff or about himself.
Now, was Jesse always in mind for this role?
Yeah. Well, I've wanted to work with Jesse obviously for years, and he's read pretty much everything I've written, and he's given notes on edits for short films of mine. He's always been very his input's been amazing because he's also like a genius when it comes to film. I mean, he's been an actor since he was like an infant, but he's also like. He just he studied film. He knows it.
Jeez.
He's
all these compliments. Thank you.
Well, what can I say? So but this is the first time that I was like, hey, do you want to be in something? And he said yes. So
now, how close to reality is this movie? Like, did this actually happen to someone?
Parts of it, we like to call it a semi-autobiographical film. So Noah Segan, who plays Elliot, the lead character, he and I. Sort of, he was very much involved while I was writing the script and giving notes on it, and we were both going through some pretty terrible personal life times ourselves, and we kind of took all of our worst experiences and worst sort of aspects of ourselves and rolled them into this. We tried to make like a really unlikable, I think, is a like not quite sympathetic main character.
Okay. He's just there.
He's just kind of
he's floating around.
He's kind of like coasting through life and expecting everything to just everyone to just sympathize with him because he just assumes he's the hero. And I also I wanted to make a movie where you had all of these fully actualized, really interesting characters who all have to interact with this like man-child. So basically, I was sort of exercising my demons in that way. Gotcha. But yeah, some stuff in the film is based from personal experience, and some was fictionalized.
Now, was it always going to be a comedy? Because this could be a really awesome drama, I think.
I think the original version was a little more serious, a little more there's a little more drama to it. But I don't know. I've all of my stuff. I always either slip in jokes or it just ends up becoming funny. So
inadvertently funny. Yeah, that's good.
But like my favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as somebody who's known Ned a long time, I think it's hard for Ned, and I think this is a great quality, to completely separate the humorous and ironic elements of even the saddest parts of life. You got it. The gallows humor. I think you're good at that, Ned.
I will say I've given a couple of eulogies in my life and have gotten laughs.
Really?
So I figure that's
that could be a good sigh of relief.
It's just the right humor.
Right. That's a fine line right there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of the stuff in this movie. Like the more when we played it all very seriously. Like there's a breakup scene in it that's we shot it, and when the way the actors played it was very heavy.
Raw.
But there's a way that Elliot responds at one point. The way he just lets out this no in this really pathetic way that every time we see it with an audience, they laugh. Which actually makes me happy. Like I like the idea if you're at this really heaviest part of the movie and people are laughing.
Right. It's unpredictable and it keeps things fresh and interesting for sure.
I just think also I just can't. I'm incapable of taking things too seriously.
Okay. So are you just into writing comedies then?
Mostly, I've written a lot of stuff I've written previously. It's been a combination of stuff. Like I've done a lot of genre mashups, like horror comedy, sci-fi comedy.
Stuff that we can talk about that Jesse's in, or?
Well, there's one. I made a web series years ago called Co-op of the Damned, and Jesse directed an episode for it, which is one of my favorites. It was a zombie romantic comedy.
Talk a little bit about that, Jesse. Curious about that.
Oh, well, you can find that on the internet, I think.
It's on YouTube.
Okay. I'm gonna watch that.
What is it? It's a two minute short about a woman who is breaking up with her boyfriend, who's a really sweet, nice guy, because she met a really handsome zombie.
Okay.
So it's a short comedy of this guy getting his heart broken.
Now is the zombie all in
kicking ass?
In serious
it's funny.
makeup, or?
The zombie's actually played by Paul Telfer, who plays the British gay best friend in California.
Okay. The big buff guy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I try to use him in everything because he's really fun. He's a great actor as well. And
He's so good in your movie, man. He's so good
Yeah.
in California Now.
Yeah, he is.
It was such a nice, subtle performance from him.
yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
He usually, he's a giant. He's like a walking action figure. So it was nice to give him something to do that wasn't like, just flex.
Right. Now,
Yeah, really. Yeah, to go against type a little, and also Paul, he's so intellectually such a smart guy that like to give him those nice sort of rolling little speeches with philosophical moments and stuff. It's like you don't expect this sort of devastatingly handsome giant hulk of a man to be able to sound so refined, but he does, and he is. We call him the Henge. That's our nickname for him.
the henge.
The henge.
Because he looms like a henge.
Oh, okay.
Like a Stonehenge.
Stonehenge. Got
And
it.
because he's
got it.
Scottish.
And he's Scottish too.
So that works too. So I'm curious, speaking about the cast, what was
Yeah.
it like assembling this wonderful team?
That was a lot of fun, actually. Most of the I've done, this is my first feature, but I've done a lot of shorts and web series, and I just sort of I work with someone and then I kind of like fall in love with them professionally and just want to keep using them.
Yeah.
Like Paul has been in pretty much everything I've directed, and I did a short with Jordan Hinson, and then after that experience I was like, oh, I'm gonna like write this part for you.
Okay. But now knowing Jesse for so long, sixth
Yes.
grade,
Yes.
was this your first time working with him?
Yeah. First time with him in front of the camera.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
we've done stuff behind the camera before, and then Noah and I had been trying to do another film that was just too expensive, and so we sort of sat down and was like, what's like the cheapest amount of money we could make a feature film for? What's the lowest cost? And that's what we came up with.
Yeah, no, he was great.
Yeah, and then he introduced me to Tracy Toms, who's tremendous, and I just had I went out to lunch with her and I was like, hey, be in this thing.
Yeah,
And she's great. She's game for anything. She's super, and also like, she's such a pro. Like you don't really have to direct her. You kind of just turn the camera on.
Right.
And then
it's natural.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And then for the a lot of the cameos were fun. So for the famous actor that gets in a huge fight during a junket with Elliot, that was Jesse. Jesse hooked us up with that.
Nice.
And
Breckenmeyer.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to hang out with on set.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so that was all Jesse.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's a buddy. He's a
Yeah.
good friend. We talked him into coming on our little movie.
Nice.
Well, we were like shooting at the Four Seasons for a day, and we're like, "Hey, do you want to come to the Four Seasons?"
Right. And that little, that like that montage sequence where he's interviewing all these. Was Breckenmeyer he was probably the most well known.
Yeah. Well, the rest of that sequence is all actual entertainment journalists.
Okay.
Posing as interview subjects.
Should have called me. I would have.
We didn't have a travel budget.
Yeah. Okay. I know. That's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, so I was basically like, hey, I know you're used to coming to this hotel and like asking actors questions, but would you just come to this hotel and sit in this chair and let us ask you like the same questions?
Nice. Yeah.
And so that was a fun day.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I'm curious though.
Hey, our buddy, we should shout out Dan Hall too.
Oh yeah, and one of them wasn't an actor. One of them wasn't a journalist. He was an actor. Daniel Hall, who is he's on a soap opera.
Okay.
I
Sounds
think
familiar.
and we all grew up together in Connecticut
Oh,
near each
cool.
other. He and I were in a theater.
Yeah,
troupe
we've known him forever too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, "Hey, Dan, I'm sorry I don't have a bigger part for you in the film, but but no, he's always like shooting, so
Nice.
busy."
Now, what were some of the challenges you guys faced on set?
The biggest was, we made the feature for $25,000.
Wow.
So the biggest problem every day was
Budget.
Yeah. But yeah, we got around that. Like we wrote the film specifically to locations that we knew we could get for free.
Nice.
Or cheap. We only paid for I think 2 locations.
Okay.
And then mostly it was just the scheduling, which became a creative challenge, which is basically like if you watch the movie closely, you notice that it's mostly just Elliot and one other person. And so we scheduled the movie based around, we're going to shoot with this actor for 3 days.
Okay.
We're going to shoot with this actor.
How
for
long
3
was
days.
the shoot?
The initial shoot was 15 days over the course of 2.5 months.
Wow.
So it was a lot of weekends and picking
That's
up. your hair.
challenging. It's yeah.
Keeping Noah's hair the same length was a challenge.
Yeah.
So that it's like because he'd go away, and then we did reshoots, and it was like, okay, I think you sort of cut here.
Right.
And then, but it was actually the shoot itself, as much as it was, we had no money and we had no time. everyone. It was a very small crew, but everyone was very enthusiastic
Yeah,
and
yeah.
dedicated, and everyone was very
It's an
friendly.
indie film. That's the
Yeah.
vibe. That's the best type of vibe. That
Yeah.
creative energy.
We had basically like a dozen people on set, and everyone was just happy to be there
Yeah.
and having fun. Most of it was shot at my house, which made it
Oh, yeah?
easy to where Elliot's house in the movie was my house in LA.
Now, whose house was Colton James?
That was this is actually kind of sad. No, that was
Well, you'll make it kind of funny.
I'll make it kind of
Yeah.
funny. That was a dear friend of mine named Scott, who's also a co-producer on the film.
Okay.
He and his wife own that house in Malibu.
Okay.
And
Beautiful.
beautiful house. And I was like, hey,
Yeah.
would you mind just like getting out of the way for the weekend? And they were very nice about it, and they were very supportive. That house, sadly, last month was burned to the ground in the wildfires in Malibu. As was like where we filmed, where all the driving was done. That whole section of Malibu Canyon was just devastated.
So you got out just in time.
I mean, we shot that part like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But,
Wow.
But it was very sick. So I watched the film now, and I was like, oh.
Okay.
It was a beautiful house.
Nice.
But they're going to rebuild. So.
Good. And that's where the sequel will happen.
Yeah. And thankfully, nobody was hurt. But that was very. I mean, that's been sort of the realities of we make jokes in the film about like droughts and things in California, but California has its share of problems.
Yeah. Wow. It's heavy.
Yes. I don't have a joke for that.
No, you don't.
Sorry.
But
Even California won't actually tell you no. They'll just light your ass on fire or choke you out with no water.
That's a
There
great
you
way.
go.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
It's a great way to get out of a difficult conversation. Is just
Right,
set
right.
yourself
Yeah,
on fire.
California's mad, passive aggressive too,
Nice.
just like its inhabitants.
Yes.
Now, Jesse, I'm curious. What do you hope audiences take away from this film?
I hope that people just enjoy this movie. I just think it's a fun movie that points out some fun sort of insider energy that you can encounter if you've lived in LA. It's a little bit of like an inside movie on some levels with respect to that. But those are good movies when they work, and I think this one works. I also like that there's a funny element to this movie that I think is really relevant right now, and I thought it was relevant then, and I think it's even more relevant now. And it's cool that that the movie was a little ahead of the curve. Where I feel like it's a little bit of a movie about. It's occasionally a movie about how the problems of a relatively privileged middle-class white guy don't really fucking matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a nice message too.
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Not Andrew Dice Clay, but
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Ned, what do you hope audiences take away?
I hope that that they are entertained and that they laugh. But yeah, basically, I think I wrote in the press notes that it's like an indictment of straight white male privilege, which just gets very very heavy-handed. But we've seen a lot in recent, especially on the political stage recently. A lot of when the establishment is challenged, they get very fussy, like Brett Kavanaugh, things like that. I was writing a lot into that because I watch a lot of movies. I was a journalist, obviously, for like a decade, and watching every movie that came out.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, you're like, why are we watching another like whiny white guy have problems?
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to make a movie about a whiny white guy having problems.
Breaking the mold. Right?
Yeah, but it's like meta commentary.
Yeah.
Cool. I hope they enjoy it. I hope also one of the more interesting things. So the big question when I first started writing this movie was the main character going to be gay or straight? Because I'm gay, and that was my experiences were similar to Elliot's, and I decided against making it a gay couple because I wanted mainstream audiences to be able to like look at this marriage, which is in shambles, and actually think about it. And I had this worry that like straight audiences would be like, oh well, that must just be what gay people deal with. I'm like
open
no.
marriages.
Yeah, like well, just unconventional ways of straying or not dealing with your problems.
Right, not dealing with confrontation.
Yeah. But if you have a wife sort of leading the charge and saying like no, I'm just gonna go do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Hopefully it puts the audience, it makes it a little easier for more people to like put themselves in those shoes.
Yeah.
And,
but I think a gay couple would have worked just as fine.
Yeah, I think I also like to write female characters, and I was worried that if it was a gay couple, then most of the movie would just be guys.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I love working with actresses. So
nice.
It's hard to do when you write a bunch of gay men.
Oh, yeah, just a bit.
Yeah.
So, do you and Jesse have any plans of working together again in the future?
I mean, I hope when he returns my calls.
Yeah. This technically counts
this
as a
count?
phone call.
This is a call. Yeah.
This is a phone call.
So Jesse, I wanted to talk to you.
I'm always looking at anything Ned wants to show me, and Ned and I will continue to collaborate on everything from friendship to business for a long time to come.
Oh, yeah.
He's a tried and true friend.
Yeah.
So I'm always, anything he ever sends me, I'm always anxious to see it and read it and put it on the list.
Awesome.
So, but nothing. We don't have anything on the record right now, right, Ned? We don't have something we're kind of like throwing at the wall to see if it sticks right now, do we?
No, I've been writing a bunch of stuff. Some with you in mind. Don't worry. And
Good.
Trying to figure out what goes up next.
Maybe a larger role than.
I think so. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Something with explosions. Maybe.
Okay. So, guys, we only have about a minute left. And plugs. Wanna?
Well, I would say it's a fun California No. It comes out Tuesday on iTunes and Amazon, and it'll be on VOD and a bunch of cable platforms. But
Awesome.
you can buy a digital copy, you can buy a Blu-ray or DVD. It's only 84 minutes long, so it's not a big time investment. But it's just
I love that. I love that so much about your movie. I really do.
Just gets too short.
I really do. I really do. I really do. I just think that there aren't enough short movies anymore. Everybody thinks their movie has to be 2 hours to be a movie, and I don't agree with that.
I have
anyway,
a filmmaker friend who had I think it was a 40 or 50-minute short film. And the pacing was just like spot on. It was perfect, you know?
Well, yeah. Every story has the length that it needs to be to be the right story.
There you go.
And this one,
there you go.
Yeah.
This came in just under an hour and a half. Nice. And no, I think we've won a few awards at film festivals. We've had some really good reception. We just came back from Texas where we won a bunch of really great awards.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. So other people have said it's good. It's not just me.
Yeah. No,
I'm
saying it too. I'm saying it too.
I'd say it's a good, interesting take. It's sort of an anti-rom-com, and please buy it.
Rom.
Yes.
So Jesse, anything coming up that you want to mention? Plugs?
Well, I think Ned did a good job on the movie there, plugging that. I mean, the last thing I did was a couple episodes of the show Shooter, which I think you can probably get all kinds of places.
Yeah.
A USA show called Shooter. I'm looking for the next job, man. We'll see what the next thing is. Maybe Ned's going to send me a script. That'd be cool.
That'd be
In
awesome.
the meantime, if I'm going to plug myself, follow me on Instagram. I have a good time on there.
There you go.
It's very entertaining.
Jesse Bradford.
Yeah. And I'm your biggest swim fan, Jesse.
Hey, all right.
Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for today. This has been awesome. The movie is California No. Filmmaker, Mr. Ned Airbar.
Thank you very
And,
much.
of course, actor Jesse Bradford. Thank you, gentlemen. This was great.
Thank you.
And, come
thank
back.
you.
Come back anytime. Jesse, come back in person if you're ever in New York.
Right on. Are you out in Long Island? Is that what Ned said?
Massapequa.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's like right across Long Island Sound from where me and Ned grew up, basically.
Yeah.
Norwalk,
There you go.
Connecticut. That's
Norwalk
where we grew up.
kids.
If you ever
Anyway,
feel
yeah.
If you ever feel
Represent.
nostalgic, come on by.
All right.
All right. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Bye,
thanks,
guys.
guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
All right, guys, so we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with our film review segment. Stay tuned after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Fill the tank.
And we're back, guys. This is our film review segment, and I've got Mr. CJ Oakland, no stranger to the couch.
Yep.
welcome back.
Usually I'm on that side. It's weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're switching it up a little. Okay, cool.
I remember being on that side at different times.
Hey,
too.
you know,
Okay.
things
All right.
are changing. And Robin Channing, welcome back.
Always a pleasure.
Mentalist, magician extraordinaire. What's going on, guys? How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Busy as all heck this time of year, especially. I
Yeah.
just came back from a job out in Holbrook, so I had to speed all the way over here.
Okay, thank
just
you.
to be here in a timely manner. I can't miss my commitments for
Appreciate it.
Unger the Radar, as it were. You know?
Thank you, sir.
So here I am.
Yeah. And we've got 3 films to talk about today. Well, we saw 2 of them. You saw all of them.
No, I only saw 2 of them.
You only saw 2 of them.
Yeah, I wasn't able to catch all 3. Usually I can because I have nothing going
All right.
on.
So we'll make our way through the 3 movies.
I was only aware of 2, dude.
No, no,
Clarice
you
Ghost.
couldn't make Mary Queen of Scots.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but we'll work around it. So basically, the first one, I know you didn't like either of these 2.
Not a fan.
No.
Nah.
Basically, it's Clara's Ghost, and it's a weird dramedy, which features most of Chris Elliott's family. Comedian, actor. He was the cameraman in Groundhog Day.
Right.
He
And
was
I
on
remember
SNL.
him from Get a Life and so forth.
Yeah, and SNL.
And there's something about Mary.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
has quite a career.
He's good at what he does. I'll give him credit for
Yeah.
that. I'm just not a fan.
You weren't a fan of this movie.
And no offense to Chris Elliott, I'm not a fan of Chris Elliott, unfortunately. But I will credit him for him being very good at what he does.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
So basically, the film it stars pretty much his whole family. Chris Elliott's wife is the star, and she is kind of mentally unstable, I'd say.
Yeah.
She doesn't know if she's seeing a ghost or not. Well, she sees a ghost, but I don't think anyone else sees it. And basically, it's about this family that for some random reason they decide to get insanely drunk and high this one evening. The mother is starting to see the ghost, and I mean, I don't know, this movie, it just is kind
It was
of
all over the place.
Yeah.
It just lost my attention
Yeah.
past the halfway point. I was like,
I
couldn't
I like parts of it. It could have used some tightening. And speaking of tightening, you're a writer, CJ. What did you think of Clara's Ghost?
I didn't see that one. I saw
yeah.
Scotland. I saw United States.
United States. Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't seen this one, but
All right.
it sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Like an interesting concept, but it depends on like how you execute it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of all over the place. I agree with Robin on that one.
Yeah, and the character who played, well, not the character. I don't know. Other than Chris Elliott, I don't know any of the cast. But the Clara character was just somebody that.
That's Chris Elliott's real life.
Really.
Yeah.
Wow.
Paula Neidert Elliott. actually.
Wow.
Yeah. She's the star. I thought she was great though.
For what she was, yeah. I simply didn't like her character.
No.
At all. I was like.
I don't
oh,
think
no.
any of the characters were likable.
That's
to be honest.
which I think was the point.
Yeah.
I mean, here you have this really kind of, I don't know, vacuous family that in a way I sort of sympathize with Clara herself for just trying to mentally escape from.
Yeah.
Which explains the ghost in the first place. I mean,
Right.
Look at how vacuous the family is. The fact that she has to seek refuge with a ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, that just.
And we
It
still
should
don't,
be the other way around, actually.
we still don't know if it was an actual ghost or if it was just in her head.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of where the
So
movie.
I can appreciate the mystery element, but
Yeah.
just the overall experience. I don't know if it's really the execution or the content or whatever, but I just could not follow. I was just. I was.
Yeah, it was
thrown
odd. It's an odd movie.
Oh, it was like, and I'm keeping our chat thread private on this one.
Oh God.
You know,
And I've subjected you to a lot of painful movies.
excruciating ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was one of them.
But I thought this was one of the better ones, to be honest.
Oh, that means that the rest of them.
You're harsh, man. You're a harsh critic.
Yeah, I'm brutally honest. Okay, critically. So, I mean, clinically so.
Yeah.
So if something really displeases me, I have no qualms or reservations about letting you know.
And in this movie, we also have Haley Joel Osment, who's totally random in his placement here.
Random so much that it wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah. It's like, what happened? He gained a lot of weight, too, to be honest. But
Yeah, right.
What do you think? Are you a Haley Joel Osment fan?
Yeah, I've seen him do like the stuff he did when he's younger, but
Yeah.
also as he gets older.
He's kind of faded from the scene, unfortunately.
I mean, that could also be a thing. Like a lot of child stars, when they work really young, it's like they get exposed to a lot of stuff. They get worked through a lot of different difficult conditions. So it's like it's understandable when a lot of people who work younger like want to pull back.
Yeah,
So,
it's tough.
yeah, it's not really something you can fault them for.
I think after Pay It Forward, he really disappeared a bit.
Yeah, and I kind of feel sympathy for those child actors who start really young. Sure, they get the work, they get the fame, they get the exposure, but
One of which Jesse Bradford was just on the show.
Right.
He was a child star, as you know.
right?
So there's some parallels there as well.
Yeah, nice. And so it could be just me, but I've noticed that several of these child actors just have a very difficult time growing up because that's not a normal upbringing, quote unquote.
Yeah, no.
It's
of
very
course not.
difficult to really develop and mature
It's hard.
in
Yeah.
that kind of
Can't even imagine
environment.
it. Like being a child, like taking direction, reading scripts, when you should be playing, with toys and playing in the backyard.
Well, it's kind of the human condition. It depends on what the individual person wants. Like you got kids who want to fit in and hang out with the crowd. There are others who are far more ambitious. They sort of seclude themselves from the crowd and they'll study, they'll train, they'll do whatever it is they want to do. And I think you'll find a similar cross section among Hollywood child actors.
Yeah.
There are those who are really dedicated, they want to succeed, and they grow up to become very successful adult actors. Others are just like they just want the human life. They just
Right.
So it all depends, really.
It really is totally right. Like with Bohemian Rhapsody, I don't know if you guys caught this, but
I did. I thank you very much for that.
what?
Thanks.
You know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah. Thanks to you, I was able to see the early screening of that.
Yeah.
For that, I am extremely grateful for that.
But one of the actors, speaking of the child actors,
Yeah.
was Joseph Mazzello, who was Tim in Jurassic Park. He was the boy.
Oh my goodness, really?
He was one of the bandmates of Queen in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh my.
Yeah. I was like, what? He's got a British accent now? I was like, it was really weird. It was trippy.
I would have to say so.
Yeah. He did a good job too.
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
I know. I would love to see him and the girl who plays Lex Murphy, Ariana Richards, to be in the next Jurassic World. I mean, that would be great. I don't know why they don't bring them all together again. Alan Grant.
Well, maybe they have tried, but it could be a question of availability.
Yeah,
or something.
scheduling and stuff.
And also, what's the appeal and so
And
forth. Like,
the Jurassic World movies have kind of steadily kept going down.
I like the last one more than the first one, to be honest with you.
It's like the first Jurassic World worked because they treated the dinosaurs like the first Jurassic Park.
It was a total rehash of the first.
The first Jurassic Park treated the dinosaurs like animals, like it was people in an animal reserve.
Like a zoo, yeah.
And then the animals happened to get loose. So it's like it didn't treat them as monsters. Jurassic World was a straight up monster movie. It was the dinosaurs are treated like monsters. They get attacked by monsters.
Yeah.
And Jurassic World kept doubling down on it.
Well, I like the auction sequence in the second Jurassic World. That was original to me. But yeah.
I mean,
Overall, though, I'm not a fan of the Jurassic
I
Worlds.
didn't even bother with the worlds. I mean,
No.
I like Chris Pratt and all, especially
He's good,
with Marvel
but-
and so forth.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Jurassic Park. Now, bear in mind, I read the original Michael Crichton novel.
Yeah.
Good.
Have you
I actually haven't. No,
I've read it.
You
That's probably on top of my list.
so you know.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
It was a lot more violent, right?
It's not so much the violence. It got into far more expansive detail with the scientific content.
Okay.
Because Michael
There's a
Crichton
lot
Wasn't
they
he a
had to cut
doctor, Crichton?
I
Or
think
he had
so.
like
Well, he was possessed of an extremely brilliant mind. All right. It wasn't just that he told fiction. He was, well, they didn't have the term info dump back then, but he really took that concept and ran with it. He just gave so
Anything
much
he writes, he
information.
researches the hell
Yeah,
out of.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he knows his stuff.
Oh yeah.
And he presents the details of those research to his readers. He explains all these scientific concepts so as to provide a really intricate,
Realistic.
educated framework for his stories.
Right, and they feel real because they're
Yeah,
based in fact.
That's why so many of the movies that are based on his novels have such a really sophisticated science fiction.
Except Congo, I wasn't a huge fan.
Congo is definitely a bit of a departure.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts in the Jurassic Park books that didn't make it into the movie, unfortunately, is that they had a computer system set up to track all the dinosaurs. So it's like they had like 451 dinosaurs in the park, and they check, and it's like there are 451. It's like, see, none of them are loose. They're all where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And one guy's like, check for 452 dinosaurs. And they look, and it says 452 found. And they realize it didn't say how many dinosaurs are on the island. Just how many it was looking for was always what the
I think you're
limit was.
nitpicking a little there, though.
No, I'm saying like I enjoy that. Like I like that part, and I wish it had been in the movie because there's that moment of the technology fails because they didn't think to ask like the dinosaurs can't reproduce without us, and then they figured out like just search for 10,000. It shows up there are like 2,000 dinosaurs on the island now. They've just been breeding and they had no idea. Like I enjoy that part.
Gotcha. And well, okay, we're gonna This is a completely this.
We've
segue.
gone off track.
This kind of brings us back on track with this movie you didn't see, unfortunately. It was pretty good. Mary Queen of Scots, CJ. This is the
I'm
story.
curious how you connect from Jurassic Park to Mary Queen of Scots, but I'll take it.
I'm just trying to move along.
It's a good movie. Mary Queen of Scots, exceptional
Yeah, yeah.
drama. Like, I love historical films like this.
It's about
Like,
the Queen Mary of France who's being pressured to marry, and there's some kind of like competition between her and Queen Elizabeth I. You've got Saoirse Ronan, great Irish-American actress,
I should have seen this one then.
no, she
Yeah.
did fantastic.
and Margot Robbie, beautiful actress in her own
Oh
right.
yes, yes.
And yeah, it's basically about these two very high up, queens who are basically kind of butting heads a little bit.
A little bit. Like,
Yeah.
when I first saw the trailer, it definitely portrays it as, like, Queen Mary versus Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But that's not so much the driving force of the movie. Like,
Right.
it's definitely there, and it's definitely a thing that motivates both of them. But a lot of it comes down to the men around these women.
Right.
Who, at the same time, like, show respect, like, oh, yes, it's a queen. But half of them are like, can you believe we're being ruled by a woman? Like, how unfair is this?
And they're
just-
trying to force her to marry and have a kid, and it's
Yeah, and a lot of it is that they want to try and have these women almost be subservient. Like,
Yeah.
in their worldview, like, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Whereas Mary and Elizabeth are just straight up ruling the country. Like,
Yeah.
they're good rulers. They have good judgment. They're fit. Like, they show that they're very competent rulers.
right, right.
But a lot of these men can't accept it. They want to marry them because then they think, if I'm king, then I rule and she can't say anything.
Yeah.
And you keep kind of having that show up, that these men try to, like, tear down these women, like saying, like, oh, you're emotional, your judgment can't be trusted. And throughout the whole movie, they're both very stoic. They hardly get emotional. They're very clear-minded. And it's the men who are just whining and making all these terrible mistakes.
I think this is one of the perfect
Yeah.
Me Too movement movies.
It
to be
definitely
honest.
kicks in very well.
Yeah, definitely.
You're selling me on this one. I
Yeah.
feel like I should have watched this instead of.
Well,
I recommend it.
It comes
when
out.
It comes out.
It comes out next week, but yeah. Are you a fan of Saoirse Ronan or Margot Robbie?
Margot Robbie, I've seen her in Suicide Squad.
Right.
Now, maybe not the best representation of her work, but
Not
I
really.
liked her.
If you've seen like I, Tonya, she did a great dramatic performance
yeah.
there.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
this is definitely more like it. Like she plays Queen Elizabeth.
Very
and
serious.
You think like it's gonna play it up, but Queen Elizabeth was known for like wearing heavy makeup, like trying to obscure her features.
Yeah.
Like she was very vain about how she was presented. So
Right, that
it wasn't
white-
so much
white makeup,
Yeah,
yeah.
Margot Robbie was never really shown like she's there to be a beautiful woman. She's there to be Queen Elizabeth, the force ruling this country that no one can kind of question.
And I think she was underused quite a bit.
A bit. Like I wish there had been a lot more of her because
Yeah.
she does a fantastic performance.
But having said that, though, I thought Saoirse Ronan was phenomenal. Like,
Yes, it's definitely her movie. Like
Yeah.
it is Mary Queen of Scots, so it's to be fair, it's more her. But
Right.
She nailed the performance. I thought it was fantastic.
True. Agreed. All right, guys. So we're at our final movie, which I hope you both saw.
Yep.
It's United Skates.
Yeah.
Documentary about the unfortunate state of roller skating rinks throughout the country and how they're slowly dying down and being closed all throughout the nation. But a small group of people are still passionate about skating. It's like an art form to them, and a release and a communal aspect of it really keeps them going. And it's about the struggles of these people, the struggles of their hobby being shut down all over the place. And
It's not just a hobby. It was
Yeah.
clearly a heritage.
Yeah, it was intense.
Like the thing that's kind of getting missed here when you're describing this is that
Yeah.
these spaces were very important in the African American community, the
Right.
Black community. Like these were places where people could get together and like they could be a community when a lot of places usually tried to
We're
exclude
denying them that. Yeah.
And that's part of what you see here is that a lot of these places they would have like open skate night every night,
Yeah.
but they would try to keep black people out. And then it became that they're like, oh, there's an adult night or a soul night, which is
Soul night,
when
right.
the black community could show up, and there was usually heavily more security
Yeah.
there. So you see that these things were kind of done as segregation. Like skate rinks were popular in
Right.
the 70s, and black community wasn't initially allowed in. But when they were allowed to have that night, they realized this is a night for them, and they
Yeah.
made it about them. They
Yeah.
made it part of their community, something that they could do.
Yeah.
And it was very inspiring to see the different families and like how much it meant to them that they were able to have this kind of
Community and
this kind of
Together,
like an
yeah.
art form that
Yeah.
they would be able to all perform together.
And that's the reason why it's so inspirational.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
it's
it was
so
beautifully
sad
done.
that you see like all the skating rinks are being shut down, and
Yeah.
mostly that some of them are like in poor neighborhoods because they're heavily black neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and it's that they're being zoned out to try and put in businesses and just basically attempting to shut them down.
I'm thinking they might make a movie like this about maybe Toys R Us down the road.
Oh, yeah, right. I don't think it would have as much of an emotional
Right, right.
grab.
No,
yeah.
No, like this one, like what definitely impressed me was they showed like the one family where they were always able to go to the skate night at their park, and when it closed, you see them go to a different skating rink.
Yeah.
And they pay to go in. It's a mostly white crowd who's there.
Right.
And then the management comes over and says, "I'm sorry, you're not allowed to skate. Like your skates are too small."
Right,
And they're like,
the
well,
wheels are too
Yeah, it's like your
small.
wheels are too small because they have custom skates. And it's like, well, that man has wheels the same size as ours. Oh, well, you don't like you need this. It's like that person doesn't have like the stoppers on the thing. Like
they're just making excuses to just not let them in.
yeah, like it's very clearly they're excluding them on purpose, and that's
Right.
why you see like how important these spaces are.
Right.
And it's something like I never considered. Like I never knew that skate rinks had a very like rich cultural heritage like this.
Right.
That it like connects to the hip hop community from the '90s. Like NWA, all these rappers got their start in skate rinks. They were allowed to perform there when they weren't allowed to perform anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it was very
Important,
informational,
right.
very important. Like I had no idea about any of this, and I'm very happy I watched this film. Like I
Good.
learned a lot.
Great. I'm happy that I sent it to you. Robin, I know you don't really agree so much.
Well, you know what? Emotionally, I didn't really connect with it as much, but at the same time, I did sympathize. I mean, from a clinical level, I thought it was very educational.
Yeah.
You know, seeing this entire culture and how deeply woven it is with skating and so forth. I thought, informationally speaking, I thought it served its purpose,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it on that front.
Hmm.
I didn't really like connect with it per se, but at the same time, I appreciated it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Fair
much,
enough.
Much more so than Clara's Ghost.
Are you guys roller skating enthusiasts at all?
Not particularly. Like I used to go when I was younger. I haven't gone since. They actually just closed a roller rink in my town that's been there since the 70s. So when I heard of this, I'm
Was
like,
it in the movie?
It wasn't. It was a place in Limbrook. I don't know what the connection was there because I've never gone. Like I went there when I was a kid, when I was like 10.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if that was one of the rinks they're talking about in the movie, but it did close down. And like when you just sent me the movie, it's like, oh, the history of skating. I'm like, this sounds like it'll be a very dry documentary, but it's really not so much about the skating as
more
the
about the
people
visual-
and like what the skating meant to them.
And the visual stuff, like the editing was insane. I
Oh,
think.
the editing
I
was
love-
great because
yeah.
you see these people doing these insane moves
Yeah.
that really impressed me, and like how they showed each state has like its own style.
Right.
So it was a very well put together. Like this was very much a documentary made with passion. Like
Right.
people knew about what this was, and they wanted to get the word out and show people. And I think it's a great movie to do that.
And they could have even made this into a narrative feature. I think a fictionalized version.
Yeah, I could definitely see ground for that. Like you've seen like
Yeah.
NWA like did the story of them and rappers in the '90s. So you could do a movie about like what was it like all world. What was the name of the place in LA where they performed? I can't remember the name of their skating rink. I just watched this movie too, but they had a lot of famous movie skate rinks and how it connected the community. So I could definitely see a movie about one of those locations.
Yeah, this would be fun. Be fun to see with some big names in it or something. So yeah, Robin, we have time. Did you want to demonstrate your?
Yeah. It's funny because as I tend to operate sort of spur of the moment, you know, fly off the seat of my pants kind of thing.
Yeah.
And one piece that I came up with, it actually ties in with the movie that I liked the least of this batch, ironically enough. And I'm sorry, the gentleman that you were just interviewing, what's his name again?
That's Mr. Ned Airbar.
Ned, would you mind joining us up here for a minute? Because as long as we got Ned and we got Chris over here, I'd like to try something with the two of you. Okay, and you're still Mike. Okay, that's good. Okay. Well, no, it's just sit right here. All right.
You can be your silent
going to-
assistant.
Okay. Speaking of silence, you know what? Could you just add a little bit of space between you guys? Okay. As a matter of fact, a little bit more. All right. Okay. You'll see where this is going in a moment. Because, like I said, I was sort of inspired in a weird, indirect way from Clara's Ghost, and I'm actually going to try this for the first time.
So it was probably a good
ever.
thing you saw the movie, in a way.
In a really indirect way. So so even if what I would describe as a rotten tree could bear an interesting fruit, then we'll run with that. All right. Okay. So Ned, Chris, I'm going to try something. I was inspired by watching that movie, Clara's Ghost, and the idea, just the idea of like a silent, invisible person, potentially a silent, invisible partner, sort of came to mind. And I'd like to see where I can go with that. But in order for this to work, I'd like both of you to relax. Okay. Right. Just close your eyes and inhale. Okay. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. I just need you to just open your mind. Open your bodies, open your experiences, like your senses. Open your senses. Open. All right, just let yourself be open to whatever sensations you have, anything hot, anything cold, any pressures, but don't react, okay? Just make a mental note, all right? Just open your mind, Let me just go over to the other side over here, okay? Because I need to make sure that everything's all cleansed, okay? Very good, okay, very good. All right, and let's see what we got going on over there. Let's see if we can make this happen. Okay, very good. Okay, just very good. All right. If you happen to feel some taps, raise your free hand. You didn't feel anything, Chris?
Oh, you meant before, or do you mean like
so
right this
if you
second?
felt anything at all?
If I did feel something, yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. Point to the shoulder that you felt taps. Okay, okay. Raise the number of fingers to indicate how many taps you felt. All right. This is never an exact science, okay? All right. Open your eyes. All right. Basically, I was trying to work off trying to simulate the experience of a silent partner kind of thing going. So, silent, supernatural simulation, as it were.
All right.
And
it's a lot of alliteration.
Okay. Now, I was pretty much operating off of Ned over here, Chris.
Okay.
So the fact that you were feeling something regardless.
Oh, no. What I felt originally was when you walk over here, I felt the 2 taps and you walk away. And I thought you were asking, what did you feel when I was here? I wasn't feeling anything the whole time.
Okay. You
Sorry.
sure?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chris.
I apologize.
Okay. All right.
I would, if you try the trick in the future, definitely work on possibly the wording a little bit, because when you asked that, I thought you meant...
Yeah. Thank you very much for putting it on the air. Okay.
It's fine.
No, I appreciate what you were going for. I definitely understand where you were going.
I'm standing. This is good. This is
and
good.
You said this is the first time it worked.
Wait. Okay, wait. Let me see if I can roll with this. Okay. Now, everything that you just said, if you could just isolate one word out of everything you just said, what would the word be? I'm just curious.
I'm not sure.
Whoa. I'm sorry. Wait. What was that? What was that? What did you just say?
I just said I'm not sure.
Not sure. You sure? Mm-hmm. It's ironic, but you said...
I am sure that I'm not sure.
You're sure that you're not sure. What time is it right now? What time is it?
6:47 p.m.
6:47. Really?
Yes.
This can't be made up, right? Sure about that?
Yep.
Even though he said not sure, I'm still asking if he's sure anyway. I can't. I don't know. It's a weird play on words. But you know what? Let me just get something out of my pocket here where I kept the microphone. Ned, could you? Sure. This is weird. Okay. I had a premonition earlier today. I just wanted to make sure that this is even weirder. What does that say?
Whoa.
Not sure.
6:47.
Whoa. That's okay.
That's the real climax, by the way, here.
I don't think they can see that on the camera.
Okay.
Very well done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Okay.
Not sure. 6:47.
Yeah.
Can't see that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to share that. Ned, thank you so much. Why is that like a G.I. Joe inspired tattoo there? Kind of?
I get that a lot.
Okay. Because that reminds me very vaguely of the Arashikage Ninja Clan. Okay.
All right. You want to sit and hang out?
No.
All right, guys. So, yeah, basically, we got a few minutes. What are you guys looking forward to seeing, CJ? What's coming out?
What's coming out? The Aquaman movie. I got to take you for that to go see that early.
For sure.
We're probably going to talk about that on the show. Me and Vinny Bonfanti are going to go see that. So.
Yeah.
We're actually
going to have we're going to review that on our Christmas show potentially.
Okay. Yeah.
It's going to be a huge, party on this couch. Maybe some stools or something. But yeah, we're going to try to make it work. But Ned, what are you looking forward to seeing? Being on the opposite side.
On the opposite side. No, this is like a great time of year, obviously.
Yeah.
Since everything is coming out. I just saw last night The Favorite.
Okay. I've heard. I haven't seen it, but I want to.
Really good.
Yeah.
Because the guy who did The Lobster. So.
Okay.
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Is this also A24 films?
I think it's Searchlight. Actually.
Oh, okay. Because A24, they everything they come out with is great.
Yeah. I might be wrong about that, but no, that was fantastic. I'm trying to think, like, there's something else I'm just dying to see that's coming out soon, but now I'm blanking on it, which is great for.
It'll come.
Show.
It'll come. To you. Robin, what are you looking forward to?
Bumblebee, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not a Transformers guy. I don't know. The first
I-
one was good, but after that, it's just all downhill.
Well, I grew up on the cartoons and the toys, so
Yeah,
I'm
same
like
here.
totally a Transformers guy. So that's why if I had to pick and choose between Bumblebee and Aquaman, hands down, I'm going for Bumblebee.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely Bumblebee I'd be more excited for, because all the Transformer movies are made by Michael Bay, who's not a fan of like the cartoon.
He's
and
not
everything.
directing
Like,
this one. He's
No,
probably
this
producing,
is not
right?
directed by him, and that's why it looks like it's the best one so far. Because all the other ones are just robots fighting; they're
Right.
not characters at all. Like,
Right.
there's literally in the movies, it's like Megatron is kind of a character. Optimus Prime has 2 modes where he is, I believe that freedom is the right of all sentient beings,
Right.
and I'll take your face.
Yeah,
He only
either
goes between those
reflective
two.
or battle
He has
mode.
no character growth.
Right.
And then there's just Bumblebee, just makes noises. Literally, none of the Transformers really have character.
Yeah.
And in this movie, just the trailer alone shows like Bumblebee has character, the Decepticons coming after him seem to have character.
Plus,
like,
Haley Steinfeld,
Yeah.
she's really good. She's a
yeah, like this
very
looks
good
like a good movie that
Yeah.
actually
That-
feels like a Transformers movie.
That and also the character designs look a lot closer
Oh,
to what
they
they
do.
looked like in G1. G1,
Yes.
by the way, terminology for you Transformers hardcore
Oh,
fans.
that went.
Generation 1 Transformers.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
look fantastic.
They do.
Just
Soundwave looked like Soundwave because that's coming out of his
he
chest.
was my
I was
favorite.
marking
Just seeing
out
him on
from
the
that.
trailer. Soundwave show up. I'm like, oh my god, yes.
And
I know it now.
Starscream looking like the original Starscream. I was like, yeah.
It's
All
not
right.
actually supposed to be Starscream. I think it's like Thundercracker, but he looks just
Ned,
like
you were
Starscream.
currently
I
the
don't know.
meat of this geek
This is
sandwich.
nuts.
I'm sorry.
Are you a Transformers fan?
Not the movies. I say.
Okay,
But I
gotcha,
did grow up-
gotcha.
I grew up with the toys
Yeah.
and the cartoons also.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the most painful theater going experiences I ever had was Transformers 2.
Oh god.
Yeah,
So I
that.
was like,
3 was
actually-
just atrocious as
yeah,
well.
But just ugh.
Yeah.
But no, but this one does look, also has John Cena in it, which is
Mm-hmm.
never a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, he really surprised me with the Amy Schumer movie.
Yeah.
John
Train
Cena, I'm
wreck.
willing to give a chance. All right,
Yeah.
guys, I've never seen any of his cinematic work, but I'm willing to give him a chance.
Yeah.
on
Did
Bumblebee.
you guys see Blockers earlier this
Yeah.
year?
Well,
Like,
Cock Blockers
yeah.
is the official. I don't
Official,
know.
yeah, but-
Yeah, whatever.
that I thought
That was
like,
very, very funny.
that was-
Yeah.
and he was fantastic in
Yeah.
that. This year's been really good for comedies. I feel
Yeah.
like.
Especially yours.
I'm not allowed to say that.
That's true, though. It was one of the better dramedies. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah. The tone, this was perfect.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was so we were thought a lot about that.
Yeah. Good, good. What I'm looking forward to, top of the list, is probably Welcome to Marwen.
Yeah.
Steve Carell, fantasy drama directed by Robert Zemeckis. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Very curious about that one.
Yeah. The visual style, like of him becoming or him
Yeah,
imagining
the
himself.
action figures moving. Like,
Yeah. That's gonna be great.
It looks fantastic. And now I'm just being reminded of all these movies I have to spend money on. It feels so bad for my wallet.
Really?
Unfortunately,
I
yeah.
gotta go see Bumblebee. I gotta go see
Aquaman,
Aquaman.
Marwen.
The Favorite. I gotta see Welcome to Marwen.
I know.
Looks
Unfortunately,
great.
these aren't in screening link form. Unfortunately.
No, they're
No,
the
I
big
gotta
ones.
shell out for
Yeah.
these. But I want to support movies that look good. So it's like I'm happy giving them my money.
Yeah. What was the last thing you actually paid to go see?
Paid to go see? I just saw a movie last week. What did I see? Trying to remember what came out because I saw Overlord by J.J. Abrams was interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Nice.
It was definitely, they tried to make it look like it's going to turn into a zombie movie, but it was mostly a war film that just happened to have some zombies in it.
Oh, cool.
I thought it was very well done.
Okay. What did you last?
That was actually the last movie I paid to see.
Oh,
That's all.
nice.
I actually really enjoyed. My friends and I were looking for like a good B movie,
Yeah.
good time, and I actually really enjoyed it.
It definitely had a B-movie vibe. It was
Yeah.
good.
So like a horror drama, you'd call it?
Kind of like like
A war film with some scenes of horror in it.
Okay. Okay.
Like even when like they're trying to go into like the Nazis are experimenting on people, like trying to revive the dead to use them as soldiers. Like it didn't really go into that too much. Like I was almost waiting for there to just be waves
They
of
were
CGI zombies.
creating zombies to fight, like.
Yeah, they were like
Okay.
experimenting with like raising the dead back to
Didn't they
life.
kind of do that with the first Captain America?
a little different.
Yeah,
Not so
okay,
much.
okay.
That was more like making people stronger. This was like we have so many dead bodies of all these people we're killing. Can we use them?
That's actually really smart. if,
Yeah,
they,
like-
if they could do it, that
No,
makes.
yeah, it's
If they
it's
could.
very
Yeah.
interesting. There's
It
a lot
did-
of good
This
moments
is
of
this
body
is a,
horror.
I didn't
It
think
didn't go well for
I didn't think we'd take this turn. To be honest.
No, but it was for the most part it was a war film. It was
Yeah.
these soldiers stranded in France having to take down a Nazi base, and it turns out the Nazis are experimenting on zombies. But
Wow.
even as they're making all their plans, it's like fully treated as a war film, and it's the kind I like firing machine guns, and it's like all the squibs going off on the ground as they're trying to take out people. Like the practical explosions.
Any notable actors?
A few. It had Kurt Russell's son is actually like one of the main characters, and he
Wyatt.
looks very similar
Wyatt
to
Russell?
him. Yeah.
Okay, he's good. Does he look like him too?
He plays a classic war hero.
It feels like a Kurt Russell role. If
Nice.
the movie was made like 30
Yeah,
years
if this
ago.
was made 30 years ago, it would be directed by John Carpenter,
Yeah.
and it would have Kurt Russell in
Yeah,
it.
perfect.
Kurt Russell. I remember seeing Kurt Russell do a screen test when he was auditioning for Star Wars.
Oh
I've seen that
wow!
one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's on YouTube.
Somewhere.
I gotta see that. I gotta see that.
Yeah, you
I
should.
love. Did you
Interesting,
Did
yeah.
you guys see the Christmas Chronicles? We reviewed that
Not yet.
last
No.
weekend.
Yep.
It's him. It's Russell as Santa.
Yeah.
And it's
He
great.
looks great.
He sounds great. He should do a Big Trouble in Little China sequel.
They're doing a remake with The Rock, but it's like it's it's not a remake, it's a sequel. Like it's in the same
That's a
world,
reboot.
it's treated later,
Yeah.
it's not a reboot.
Okay.
Like it's going to be the events in the 80s happened, and this is just Chinatown 30 years later where there's still magic.
mean, he'll make
and
it
I'm
work.
hoping for a cameo, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I have faith it might be good. But
It'll
we'll
be
see.
it'll be decent.
I'm willing to give that a
yeah, I'm
shot.
holding out, I'm giving it a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they haven't revisited that universe since with the first one in '86.
Yeah. Right.
First one's
Unless you
great.
count the comic books that they did. Yeah. No.
Well,
You don't know.
Ned, will you write the Big Trouble in Little China sequel?
I would be honored.
Yes. Yes.
That is one of my favorites.
I think between the four of us, we have some ideas. Okay, guys. So I didn't even see the clock there. Okay, Ned, you did your plugs. CJ, anything going on?
Just my Twitter at CJ Oakland.
Cool.
Working on different screenplays and screenwriting. I got hired to work on a short screenplay I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So if you need someone to write something or help you with writing, hire me. I'm
Yes.
very cheap. I need money.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I have to go see so many movies. I need the money.
to review them on this show, so it works out for everybody. Robin, what's going on?
LOL Comedy Club. I got a spot there this coming Friday in Times Square. Check that out. All right.
Great.
And still doing the private party thing. So if you need a magician, hey, go ahead, hire
And
me.
Mentalist.
Yep. Mentalist as well, as I clearly demonstrated here.
Yes, perfect.
Even though Chris wasn't exactly sure. You know.
It worked.
The right kind of not sure.
Exactly. the kind of right not sure that I had a premonition about earlier today. So there it was.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, guys, and so just a shout out to Narini's Organic Salon. This is our Magnitude sponsor. They're having an event at Narini's Organic Salon, Ladies Night Out. It's at 125-24 Queens Boulevard in Kew Gardens, Queens, and that will be on Friday, December 7th from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So check that out. And also to all my Jewish friends out there, Hanukkah starts tonight. So yeah, I just wish you all a very happy and healthy holiday. And I want to thank everyone who's been on my show today. This has been great. Everyone on the couch here, Mr. CJ Oakland, Ned Airbar, Robin Channing, and of course, Jesse Bradford. Thanks, guys. It's been a great show, and I want to thank you again. And thank everyone watching at home and on your tablets. I'm Randy Unger, and this has been another edition of Unger the Radar. We'll see you next week.
Under the Radar is all new next week with more movie reviews and interviews on Strong Island Radio and Television. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week.